Piers Morgan, a piece of advice for you. Right, you should know by now, as you lot would call it, pattern recognition. Okay? Listen, when it comes to black folk, yeah, Afro-Caribbean, whatever you want to call them, from now on, avoid the light-skinned ones, okay? As we say on the street, avoid the lighties, as they call them, yeah? Because when you run into them, yeah, it doesn't look very good for you. It ends in tears for you, yeah? As you're seeing now with his Toki, okay? We're going to deal with that. But listen, because you know what? This is what I think, yeah? This is what I think. Yeah? A lot of our, dare say, Caucasian folk, yeah? I call you that, yeah? Because I don't really see, well, a lot of them particular folk, yeah? Right? The ones who have certain, let's say, certain ways, yeah? Yeah, certain perspectives, certain views on life, yeah? Which the more knowledgeable, intelligent, well-to-do black folk like myself know, yeah? I'm not going to say racist because they're not, okay? They're not. No, they're not. A Piers Morgan is not a racist. And someone like a Simon Jordan, who I rate very, very highly, is not a racist. They just have a certain view, which, just have a certain view, yeah? But, we're not going to go into that now, yeah? But Piers Morgan, yeah? It seems, yeah? Well, no. These people, yeah, right? I think because of the way they're being conditioned, yeah, because of the way society's conditioned them to be, yeah, right, they have a certain view of your folk, yeah, you, the community, as you call yourself, yeah, right, which is fine, yeah, because, it goes hand in hand. They're seeing something and they're reaching to conclusions, as they call it, pattern recognition, yeah. And actually, that term is funny because I was the first one to coin that up, actually, in all my comments, because those who know me well used to know that I used to do a lot of comment writing, yeah, on videos, yeah. I was a master of it. Another conversation, yeah? Yeah. Now, yeah, so to an extent, pattern recognition, yes, yeah? But the thing is, these people kind of twist it with a racial angle, yeah? So I'd say, for example, if I was to go walk down Brixton and see a lot of black guys wearing cap and trainers, that's what they're going to wear. It's pattern recognition. If I go in central London, I see a lot of Caucasian guys in suits, looking well dressed. The office workers, naturally, that's part of their environment. It's pattern recognition, yeah? Right? And so forth, yeah? You get the gist, right? So for them, yes, I get it, pattern recognition. And, and although they may actually want to, although they actually may know better, and I'm not going to generalize here, I'm not going to stereotype here, for the sake of being online, for their online persona, online character, they're going to play into it and, they're going to, what's the word? Savor it up a bit. Like, Simon Jordan talking about white working class boys being disadvantaged, yeah, and this whole DEI thing, yeah. He really knows the truth, but to season it up a bit, he's gonna say, "Oh, DEI is a bad thing." Listen, to prove my point, it doesn't help that fools like Ennio Loco make his argument valid, yeah. Same with Piers Morgan. 10 times out of 10, when he deals with black folk, yeah, I've said it, yeah. You're making because you don't want to rock the boat. Because you don't want to rock the boat, you don't challenge him. You're very defensive, yeah. And it's been noted, black folk, Afro-Caribbean folk, when dealing with people like Caucasian people, and the Piers Brosnans, and there's Piers Brosnan, Piers Morgan, yeah, those kind of people, yeah. You're on the defensive. You don't want to rock the boat. You just want to get by and blah. That's fine. Get all that, yeah. But the thing is, yeah, light-skinned folk, yeah. And it's true. It seems to be the way. See Malcolm X, see Ice Cube. They're the ones who ride for black folk the hardest. They're the ones, and not only ride for them, but more intellectually. Mixed race, light-skinned people that are clued up are the ones who are on it, yeah? But they don't express it like that. They don't openly avert like that, if that makes sense. So they're on the ball, they're on the money, but they don't chuck it down like that unless you ask them. If you ask them and put it on them, they'll tell you straight. They will tell you straight, yeah? Look at someone like Chris Eubank Jr., for example, yeah? Good example. Very articulate guy. He's a real, if your daughter brought him home, yeah? He wasn't a boxer, he worked in IT, and he's that guy. I mean, people call him this and that, yeah? Nah. As simply put, if your daughter brought him home, you'd be like, yeah, he's all right, yeah? Alicia Dixon, yeah? Again, You can tell he's very articulate, opinionated. She'll tell you what it is. She'll tell you what it's about. You push in the corner, she'll say no. Boom, 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 boom. Right? Right, okay? Now, a lot of black folk, very defensive, yeah? They'll think it, but they wouldn't say it. And then they'll try and say, oh, light skin privilege, blah, 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 blah. No. But anyway, I'm saying all this to get to the main crux of the issue, yeah? Piers Brosnan, don't touch lighties. Don't do it. Don't go there. Because they have you up intellectually, as you've seen now. Yeah? It's this talky, yeah? That interview there, Piers walked off your own show again. You walked off your own show again. Who made you do that last time? Alex the Weather Boy, remember? Basically, Piers Morgan was coming at Meghan Markle. If you go back, remember that interaction, yeah? I was like, what is this? It's a madness, yeah? Yeah? But he's coming at Meghan Markle, as usual, because basically, Piers Morgan tried to basically cut the story short. He tried to step to Meghan Markle. Now, in hearing that, he'll get triggered. No, I didn't. We're just friends, had a social drink. But the usual, try and style it out. No, son. You was invested, yeah? You thought, pretty girl, pretty young thing. Obviously, you thought her being mixed, blah, 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 could try a thing here. Obviously, the way your wife carries on and the way you seem to carry on now, you probably got an open relationship, but you want to keep it kosher because your personality or whatever, because your persona or whatever. The fact of the matter is, you try to step to her, she ghosted you, as they say, and you didn't like it, and since then you had a vendetta, yeah? That's it in a nutshell, yeah? And the Weather Boy called you out. All that status, all that prestige, all your journalistic career, 30, 40 years in the game, in the space of five minutes, the boy shut you down and he stormed off your own show. Then you had a little tittle on Twitter, wherever it was, and he's call him this and that, and he's like, cool, whatever. He made his point, and that's just it. Make the point. That's just it. Light skin folk with sense. Make their point and walk off and leave you broken and leave you bitter and broken. It's stocky again. You say pattern recognition. Pattern recognition. You got lick up. He battered you. He cracked your ego again. You haven't learned. When you see a light skinned black person, yeah, in some cases, especially those with a bald head, yeah, walk away. But anyway, Andrew Tate. When they had it out that time. Listen, Andrew Tate, his dad's a chess player for a start, yeah, chess master, yeah, grandmaster, yeah, okay. And again, Andrew Tate, highly intellectual guy. People say, oh, man, that's spare, blah, blah, blah. No, scratch all that, yeah? Because at one point, you could not out-debate this guy, okay? You couldn't do it. Tristan Tate more so, but another conversation. These guys, yeah, highly intellectual guys. So again, Piers thought, oh, I've got my crowd, they'll back me, blah, blah, blah. He went in and got smoked. Systematically and intellectually smoked. Make it make sense. That's what I'm saying. Leave the lighties alone. And that goes to... And a lot of white folk are very query now, because, again, pattern recognition, they're like, okay, you know, dark-skinned black folk, they'll point their fingers and you know, try a thing. And very... No, I'm actually going to roll back a little bit on that. Because Summer Jordan had a football discussion very recently. And a black African guy who was a barrister was on there, and he was having him up. So Summer Jordan was step back a bit, holding his head like, right, I better fall back here. Because he's too used to smoking you, they're too used to walking over you, even if they've got the losing argument. That don't make sense. Because we all know, in the whole big scheme of things, racism, we all know where the issues lie. But because black folk were so defensive, you allowed them to come forward on you, and now they can say what they want. You know, so they can say what they want, and, you know, that's the issue. But then when you run into, like I said, a light-skinned folk who's intellectualised, they know, okay, they'll walk, they'll stay their point, feel the power, then they'll back off. Or they'll stay their point, yeah, they'll back off like Piers and walk off. Because they know where it's going, you know? Like in the interview with Histocky, yeah, Histocky slapped him up and then went back in and said, you know what, let's get back onto the interview now. But Piers realised what he wanted to do didn't work and he walked off his own show. And he has not even made account of what he did. He hasn't even made himself accountable for what he did. But isn't this show all about making people accountable? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. So yeah, listen, again, Piers and all the other folk, you know, comes to intellectual black folk, know your role. You come with all your Oh, vote reform, vote reform, vote reform, vote restore. Yeah, do all that in your own little spare, your own little, I don't know, Caucasian spare, whatever it is, white spare, whatever. But it comes to on road, again, using your own terminology, pattern recognition is what it is. Later.